Just going to have a look at Peninsula Energy again, okay, PEN, okay. Probably could go back to the last vid and just have a look at what we did there. What we've done here is we've basically taken the chart back from 2002 up to now 2011, so it gives us a good 9 years of history. Okay, and what we saw was these smaller ranges in here that it had done in the past, and you can see that it had repeated it and plus some as well. So we take this larger range here, okay, of what it's done in the past, and we see that it's easily repeated it again, okay, plus some, okay. What I've also got on the chart here, and I'm just going to get rid of it because this was when I originally started charting this, okay. We had this Andrews pitchfork in here just to see what would happen, and we could see when it struck the midline, it did come off, okay, and then it powered through it, and it got to the top line, it did come back and retest it, okay, and then powered off again, okay. So I'm just going to get rid of that because that's pretty much defunct now, okay. Make things a little less cluttered, okay. What I've done here is I've drawn a reverse fib from the low, which is the low back here, okay, from this little high in here to the low back here. What that does is it gives a target of where the stock can go to and where you'd look to thinking, okay, well, that's a reasonable target. I've made my money, I'm out. Second target thrown up is this 261 here at 14.5. And we can see that the stock has been through that, okay, so it's been through the target, so it's very bullish. What I've also drawn is I've drawn on here to check those targets. What I've done is I've drawn from basically the low here to the breakout point, okay, here, which was the old 100%, okay, there. And what we find, these are projected fib projections, okay, and they'll project where the next lot of targets are, and you can see that the 161 here in this case is pulled off there. But the 261 lines up perfectly with the 261 here, so that pretty much confirms that was a target, and people would start looking at taking profits around that point is what we'd be looking at. Also, it had done a big golden cross here in the past, okay, and it had done another one here, okay, so something to look at there. This is the daily chart. Now, if we go and have a look, what we need to do now, well, what I'm going to do first is, because most people, the history I've actually got going back to this turns out to be about 1996. But I was just using that because I thought that was fair history for what the stock would be. And the stock has obviously had, since 1996, it's had, what would you call it, consolidation. It's had more shares issued and everything like that. I've also drawn this Andrews pitchfork going back here to 2003 and off the highs here and off the low there, and we haven't retouched the low. The midline has lined up perfectly on the midline of picking highs, okay, and bounce points, okay, and it's done it quite well, okay. So, and then up to here, and then it's been through this one, and it's come back, tested it, and gone again. So we can say that's probably a pretty fair Andrews pitchfork. And we can see it's been through our target here. It's just hit the top of the fork and then come back off, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and show you that stuff from 1996 because it's fairly interesting, okay? And what we see here in that range from 1996, it did repeat that range plus some, okay? It repeated it on the next bounce up in there, pretty much spot on, and same with the next one there. So it basically repeated it 3 times on that one leg up, okay? It definitely repeated it there twice in a row, okay, on that leg up, and here again it repeated it twice on the way up. Okay, so you could expect that now that this range has been completed and there is a pullback in place, that from where it takes off again, it could repeat that range again, and that would take it up to the 50% fib there. Okay, so I'm just going to pause. Now the thing to remember is I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying it could. It's done it in the past, but that's pretty old history to be going on there. But this here is the 50% line on the overall chart. So stocks can tend to gradually go back there. Okay, it would have to do to the pitchfork what it did to the last one and make it redundant as well. As you can see, the 423 is up here at 20 odd cents. The 50% is at 21. Okay, and then you've got another projection up here at 23 cents. Okay, so I'd basically be bearing that in mind. I'm going to show you now on the daily chart. Let's just find, it seems that we reckon we've made a top in here, and we definitely have. I'm just going to get rid of this projection now, and I'm going to get rid of that one there as well. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it into a retracement. Okay, a fib retracement level is basically what we're going to be looking at, and this is going to be an area here to look at for retracement, and then we're going to do a fib, okay, from the overall run. Okay, and we're going to take it from there and take it up to the top, and it's right where our candle closed today here at 12.5 cents. Okay, now one little thing to bear in mind here, this is definitely a top. We can see this here. This is the Hanged Man candle, okay, which says a top. The 2 days before we had a tweezer top, okay, with the two little prongs there on the tweezers, where the open on this one and the high were the same and the close was lower. The one before was the open was here, the high was there, and the close was the same. We've got the same again on the Hanged Man, and then we've got the spinning top after that. We've got the little cross of indecision here, and then the lower open from the cross, okay, with another candle coming off. Okay, so levels to be looking at here, one would be looking around this 12 cents, 12.5 for a bounce before we go down to 10.5, okay, and around this quadrant level. Yeah, just back again. Basically, what we're looking at here, what we were just talking about. I've added a little fib set here from this run here, which was, you know, right to the top. And what we're just trying to do here is see where these fibs are going to congeal, as you would say. Bearing in mind, this here is the last fib of the overall fib set. Now that is that chart going back to those highs with the 40 cents on it before in the past, and that quadrant line is also from that as well, which is a quarter. Quadrants are quarters and fibs are eighths. Okay, so you'd expect this 23.6 here, last fib, to be quite good support. Okay, and that's there at 10.5 cents. Okay. Also, from this little leg up here to the top, we then get a 50% around the same. So you have to think that's pretty strong support. And also from the whole of the leg up there, you're getting another fib in the same area. Okay, so you'd have to be thinking that this 10.5 is going to be quite strong support. And not to mention too that this has been a very bullish stock, so when they do retrace, they don't tend to retrace all that far. It just might stop here at the 12.5 and turn and scoot again, but I think there's probably a few reasons why it may not do that. Firstly, and don't forget, fundamentally, I don't know much about the stock and what it's doing at the moment, but if we looked here, if we were to do like a rough Elliott wave count, you'd probably call that a wave. I'll just get rid of this thing here and make the pointer like, you'd probably call this wave 1, that'd be a wave 2 down. This would be a wave 3 up to here, that'd be a wave 4, okay? This would be a wave 5. Now, wave 5 is a completion wave, okay? And what stocks do after a wave 5 is basically an ABC. You had an ABC, basically, or did we have an ABC on wave 4? But yeah, rough count. As you can see, wave 3 is longer than wave 5 anyway, so that sort of fits the story a bit. So I'd sort of be thinking this is going to do an ABC. It just depends on what you need to do first is find out where the hell A is, okay? And I'd be looking around this moving average here. Yeah, at the moment, this is the first time it's actually really come through that 14 period moving average there, okay? And the 7 has turned down, and our standard error band has turned down as well. So that's, you know, something I'd be thinking of keeping in the back of the mind here, okay? And we're still looking at it. After it does bounce, it could probably turn and burn and do this next leg up again, which was up here to the 21 odd cents, and that was also to the 50% and the quadrant's midline as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Just having a look at the daily indicators, and we can see they're coming off. Okay, this is definitely lower highs, okay, and lower lows. Okay, so where it's going to bounce now, it's just come through here. This is the 54 on the DEMA. They usually will come back and hit the 54 and bounce again, okay? The SCOF is still up here, and this thing could still probably hang around up here for a while, but MACD has come back, okay? And we could probably look at the MACD and see if we can get some divergence just off of that little line there. I'm just going to come back in a minute with the weekly chart and show you why I think it'll probably... I only got about 3 minutes to go, so I'll just quickly try and explain this quickly. Here's our weekly chart again. I'm just going to get rid of that pitchfork in there as well because it's defunct, okay? And get rid of that. That can go with it. These were a fib projection line up for targets, okay? We can get rid of that as well, okay? And just look at what we've got here at the moment. That's our overall fib. So we're talking there, we've got a quadrant line here just above 10.5 cents. So you'd have to call it 11 because it can't do 10.5, okay? Weekly chart wise, what we've got at the moment, and it's not the end of the week, so the week can still change. We've got a bounce, we haven't got a bounce, but we've touched this fib here, okay? The next one down is that 10.5 there, and if I took that other one up from there, we'd probably find around about that area. The thing here I'm looking at are these candlesticks here at the moment. I'm just going to get rid of this pitchfork as well so you can see it properly. That is a perfect candle tweezer top on the weekly chart. The only way that this stock can stop that from being a tweezer top is to finish higher than this close here, okay, which is 15. So it needs to end the rest of the week at around about 15.5 to avoid that tweezer top in there. And we're just getting into over time. Quickly, here's the indicators on the weekly, and they're coming off. That's the DEMA coming off in there. Got about 35 seconds left. DEMA's definitely turned down. The DEMA was at 95. That's extremely high. You know, this is, you're talking EXT type stuff up here, okay, on DEMAs and what have you. So, yeah, I definitely think she's going to come off a little bit, but it shouldn't be a great deal. But even down to that, you know, sort of 10.5 max, we'll call it 11 cents, probably be about it. And it could give it enough time to come off. That little bit in there was just enough to give it a breather before. Just another thing on the ABC, once it finds out where A is, what it then will do, it will do a B leg up and a C leg, and then it'll do another one up and off again.